Yeah, so most of the time, it's typically not a hard no. It's usually just a signal that they're comfortable, obviously, with the status quo and cautious about introducing change. In hospitality, especially, technology always touches on daily operations, guest experience, so even small disruptions could feel risky. So oftentimes is what they're really saying is we don't have time to manage a transition right now, which is completely fine because with their current provider, their answer, it isn't perfect, but they're familiar. They're often worried about downtime, operational headaches, taking away time from the front desk. And then, sometimes switching vendors may feel more like a risk than it can a reward. There's also a level of loyalty involved sometimes, especially if they work with the same provider for years. But, in many cases, companies are tolerating good enough because they haven't seen a partner that clearly demonstrates a better long-term experience. One of the biggest issues we often see is reactive support instead of proactive partnership. Things may appear to be working fine on the surface, but underneath, obviously, when you dig in a little bit more, you start talking to the general managers, you start talking to the owners. There's reoccurring frustrations that teams have simply gotten used to over time. A couple of common examples, just slow response times when issues arise, inconsistent service across multiple different properties if they have multiple properties in their portfolio, limited visibility into network performance or security risks that are at hand as of now, Asian technology that no longer scales with the business. I mean, there's oftentimes I'll speak to clients and customers where they have no idea how old the hardware is on the property whatsoever. It's refreshing to be able to relay that knowledge back to them and kind of do a deeper dive into what is really going on at their property so they can make sure they don't have these security risks moving forward. We've worked with organizations that have stayed with providers simply because switching felt difficult. In one case, personally to me, a hospitality group managed several properties. They had been with the same, vendor for years. Initially, they believed the relationship was working well enough. Over time, though, reoccurring issues started adding up, kind of getting back to slow response times, different service experience at different properties. Nothing was consistent. Limited strategic guidance, also ongoing reactive maintenance instead of long-term planning, getting ready for those problems that have come arise, but not being prepared for them. So turning point came when leadership realized, their internal teams are spending too much time chasing support issues, coordinating between different vendors. What they needed just wasn't a provider. It was a partner that could bring consistency, bring accountability, proactive management across the entire portfolio so that every single property within that portfolio is working on the same basis. One of the biggest surprises is usually the level of responsiveness and communication. Many customers are accustomed to waiting on tickets, chasing updates, or maybe feeling like they only hear from their provider when something breaks. 9 times out of 10, that's always the answer. They're often surprised by how proactive the relationship becomes with TTI Technologies. We offer regular communication, strategic planning, faster issue resolution, greater visibility into their environment so they know exactly what's going on behind the scenes as well so that we can be as transparent as possible. Consistent support across all of their locations, and then recommendations before issues become problems. Another thing customers notice quickly is our hospitality expertise. We understand that technology in hospitality isn't just infrastructure, but it directly impacts operations, staff, productivity, and guest experience overall. That optional awareness changes how support is delivered.